To these fans here, you know how they love the Big Red, and they have taken to Bud Crawford as we are working our way to see who will be the undisputed champion. Here's a guy who has championship thoughts ahead. One of the very top contenders in Andre's weight class, light heavyweight division. Top 10 ranked in every organization is Gvozdyk. He'll be up against the tough Texan, Craig Beiker. Here's Lupe Contreras for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, continue with the action here at the Pinnacle Bank Arena. This is our co-featured bout of the evening. Once again, proudly presented to you by Hall of Fame boxing promoter Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated and sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance, and broadcasting worldwide on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Set for a limit of 10 rounds. On the line, the NABO and NABF light heavyweight titles. Supervisors, Leon Panoncillo Jr. and Craig Hubble. The three judges are Robert Echo, Tim Cheatham, and Mike Contreras. At the sound of the bell, the man in charge of the ring, Celestino Ruiz. Introducing first, in the blue corner, the challenger. Wearing blue with gold trim, he weighed in at an official 174.5 pounds. In 18 pro bouts, he maintains a stellar record of 17 victories. One lone defeat, 13 of those victories coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Baytown, Texas, Craig El Gato Negro Beiker. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing black with gold and white trim, he weighed in at an identical 174.5 pounds. And he enters the ring, an undefeated pro with 13 victories. 11 of those victories coming by way of KO. The 2012 Olympic bronze medalist and the defending NABO, NABF light heavyweight champion from Kharkiv, Ukraine, Oleksandr, the Nail Gvozdyk.
We're good right here. We're good right here. You received your instruction in the dressing room. Expect a clean fight and protect yourself at all times. Good luck to both of you guys. Touch up.
In our last fight, I predicted a quick knockout. I was off the mark. I'm going to give it another shot. Gvozdyk gets rid of Beiker fairly soon. Don't go to the refridge.
There is a lot to like with Gvozdyk, and that nickname is so appropriate. The Nail. In fact, the root of his last name, that's the exact translation from Russian for nail. Alex Gvozdyk, 30-year-old, 13-0.
Beiker stepped up a bit in competition one time in his career, and he was knocked out. Taking another step up tonight, and I think a more severe step up in competition.
It's a great descriptive. Severe in facing Gvozdyk, who is on what he thinks is a collision course for a hopeful title opportunity. Of course, the guy who's the best in the biz at 175 pounds is in between us right now. Andre, you take a first glance at Gvozdyk. I know you've seen him before. Now you're right here in front of him. What are your first early impressions?
I mean, obviously, I've watched film on him. I like his style. He's got the range of a light heavyweight. He's, 6'2.5", 75.5-inch reach. He's got potential. He's got pedigree, former bronze medalist. You won't quite know how good he is until he starts to step up to the upper echelon. But thus far, the potential that I see, I like what I see.
250 amateur fights doesn't hurt. You don't know how to fight after that. You should go sell Italian ices.
Meanwhile, Craig Beiker, limited as amateur with 40 fights. A young man who started boxing to lose weight. He was over 300 pounds when he started to train in a boxing gym.
I'll tell you where he's got some extra weight on that beard. He's got a thick beard, that Beiker. In the old days, the commissions would have made you shave it, because they would have said two things. One, that he could give you a cushion on your chin, an unfair cushion, where maybe the punch doesn't affect you as much. The other thing, they can get inside and grind with that beard a little bit and cause, or at least enlarge a cut on an opponent.
Or at the very least, an abrasion. You know, it can cause an irritant. So I'm surprised the commission didn't have him cut it, and I'm surprised that Gvozdyk and his team didn't complain.
And I'll be surprised if the next time we come here to do a broadcast, everyone's not clean shaven. Raises for everybody.
And what I meant about Gvozdyk is obviously you can see the pedigree and the skill and the ability, but what I meant by you'll see when he steps up in competition is more intangibles. When he's in those tough fights, when he gets hit, maybe dropped or something happens, how is he going to respond?
And again, he has had those questions that fighters have to have asked to them. He's had them asked in his background with the amateurs with 250 fights, with top competition.
They looked great last time out against Gonzalez, the former Cuban standout, and a third-round TKO back in April. Of course, Lomachenko was the headliner that night, and tonight he fights in the co-main under our 140-pound four-belt title fight.
Inside the rack houses of Jim Beam, thousands of barrels lay silent, aging, building a fuller, smoother flavor that only comes from being aged 4 long years. At Jim Beam, our history's made from the inside. How will you make yours? Now try Jim Beam Apple, poured over ice and served with club soda and a fresh lemon wedge to make a crisp, refreshing Jim Beam Apple and Soda.
Saturdays used to be for college football. Now you drive 300 miles to watch this. Yes! Flag dancing? We've been there. And with free hot breakfast, we'll be there for you. Book at Hampton.com for a guaranteed discount. Hampton by Hilton.
Think a burger place can't cook up the juiciest chicken sandwich you've ever tasted? Well, think again. The Barbecue, Club, and the New Hawaiian. The charbroiled chicken sandwiches with no antibiotics ever. At Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Round number 2 between Craig Beiker and the undefeated light heavyweight Alex Gvozdyk in the black with white trim. Gvozdyk, who in terms of management is a stablemate of Lomachenko, as well as a guy you're familiar with, Kovalev. You had a very interesting exchange with that manager yesterday. Recent past of
yeah,
note.
We talked, and it's nothing personal. You know, we laughed, gave each other a hug. You know, it's war once we're in there, but once it's over, it's over.
Let's check in with Bernardo.
In Gvozdyk's corner that he's got his earmuffs on, so I want you to throw a shot up the middle and then go behind the ear.
Not bad advice. With those earmuffs on and that peekaboo type style defense that Floyd Patterson made popular. Sometimes the opening is around the glove, behind the ear, or split the guard with a straight right hand, blind them with the jab, or maybe even an uppercut right up the middle.
Beiker, though nothing sustained, he's landed a few shots in the last round, and he's landed a few shots in this one.
You know, one thing, if I was in the corner of Gvozdyk, I might speed him up a little bit, only because Beiker has had a lot of inactivity, Andre. A year and 2 months since his last fight, and then just before that, he was off a year and a month. So a lot of rust there. And before he gets rid of that rust, I might want to try to jump on him a little bit more.
Yeah, Gvozdyk wants to make sure that he doesn't fight down to the level of competition. It's not that, you know, Baker's not any good. He's 17-1. He's a solid competitor. But you want to make sure you let him know that you have the name unit you have, and you got the pedigree, and you got to take over from the beginning, like you just said.
Yeah, I'd see him speeding up a little bit here, Gvozdyk.
This is a really tricky time for fighters. I know it was for me on the way up when you're fighting the Bakers of the world who have everything to gain and nothing to lose, and they can close their eyes and land a big shot and derail your progress. So these are really tricky times on the way up.
And sometimes, I'm sure, when it was over with and you were in the locker room, you said, you know what? I was more respectful and careful than I had to be.
Absolutely, and that's part of going to school and part of the learning process.
His right hand to the body from Gvozdyk as he was working behind the jab. Now just touching Beiker.
And what you don't want is Beyker to get too comfortable.
Exactly.
Where he's not just landing one now, he'll start putting 2 and 3 together.
Well, that bad word, confident. You don't want him to gain confidence.
And Teddy, was a great point when you talk about the inactivity. Could have taken advantage in these first 2 rounds. Beyker was off for 14 months prior to this outing.
Your big idea. Will people know it means they'll get the lowest price guaranteed on our rooms by booking direct at choicehotels.com? Hey, bada book, bada boom.
Mr. Bada Book, Bada Boom.
Book now at choicehotels.com.
If a quarter pound of beef is your favorite thing, you can still come to Arby's. Just eat half of one of these. Arby's, we have the meat.
Gold Bond presents Shack Wisdom.
He who goes the extra mile better be going the extra sprinkle.
Gold Bond Men's Powder. More than a baby powder, it controls odor and wetness with an irresistible scent. Stay cool
with Gold Bond.
I trust in God, I love my country, and I respect its laws. I will play fair and strive to win, but win or lose, I always do my best.
The Little League World Series continues tomorrow on the networks of ESPN.
Andre talked about earlier what you can do when you have 250 amateur fights. You see things. You can time things. You can time a right hand over a slow jab. Slow recovery with that jab from Beyker. You're supposed to test hot water. You're supposed to get it back fast. Got it back slow. Gvozdyk timed the right hand perfectly.
So Beyker pays the price there in round number 2. Round 3 scheduled for 10. Among our light heavyweights here, Gvozdyk 13-0 with 11 knockouts. Bronze medalist from the 2012 Olympic Games for Ukraine. Of course, as a Ukrainian Olympian, a very good friend of Vasily Lomachenko. Spent a lot of time with him out in California. He's from Ukraine, but lives and trains out of California. He says, you know, Lomachenko's dad, Anatoly, who of course is Vasil's trainer, he said, I get a lot just being around those two and spending time with Anatoly and finding more skill each and every day.
Yeah, it's not always about getting direct work. Sometimes it's the indirect work. Just being around a champion, being in a great camp and a great trainer, you can see things and catch things when you otherwise wouldn't.
I touched on it in the first fight with Andre's protege, Shakur Stevenson, that there's certain things you can't change. You know, you look at the talent, you look at the physicalities that you're born with, and you develop those with technique. But the mind, the temperament, that is what you are. And you can see already Gvozdyk, careful guy. Again, a thoughtful guy, a guy that's not going to go out there and just run into things and try to run you over. A guy who's going to take his time and be very on the conservative side.
And Beyker can sense and see that as well. That's why he's starting to slowly try to get himself in this fight and take some more chances with Gvozdyk.
Took a chance there.
It's kind of like having a babysitter when you're a kid that lets you get away with things. The kids, they start off being polite at the beginning, quiet, behaved, and then they start jumping on the couches and everywhere else because they see the temperament of the babysitter. Gonna let them get away with stuff. Right now, Beyker's seeing, as you said, that Gvozdyk will let you get away with stuff a little bit because of his even-keeled temperament. So we just said what, or at least I said what Gvozdyk is, and I think you've seen it. I'll tell you what he's not. He's not a guy who throws punches with bad intentions.
Coming to the end of round 3, of course, our main event tonight. The winner of that fight will be boxing's first undisputed champion in any weight class in 11 years. You think about the great undisputed champions in the history of the sport. That's what we will have tonight. Guys like Rocky Marciano, pride of Brockton, Mass. The great Ali, showing a little shuffle there. Undisputed champs, how about Carlos Monzon? Or the marvelous one, Marvin Hagler. Mike Tyson, he was the undisputed heavyweight champ with his rise up in the 80s. And Teddy and Andre, tonight at 140 pounds, one man here will be undefeated, undisputed. But Teddy, we asked you, we always love to get the historical list from you. Your top undisputed world champs all time.
Joe Louis, as great as Ali was, and he was great. Joe Louis is my #1 heavyweight of all time. Henry Armstrong, a monster, the greatest nickname in fighting history. Homicide Hank, can't beat that. Sugar Ray Robinson, some people think the greatest fighter of all time. Benny Leonard, maybe the greatest lightweight of all time, or one of the greatest. Harry Greff, just look at that record. That's all you need to know.
And tonight, the records of note will be Bud Crawford's 31-0 against Julius Indongo's 22-0. That is the junior welterweight championship bout set to come your way once we get through things with Gvozdyk and Beyker. The right hand splitting the guard from the Ukrainian.
Like your young George Stevenson in the first fight, Andre, Gvozdyk does a good job, maybe his strength, of controlling range. Very good at understanding distance.
You know, he's doing a good job with the distance. I'd like to see him use his jab, like we talked about with Shakur earlier, a little bit more so he can try to hide his right hand. He's got a really good right hand, but Beyker's got a tight guard, and Beyker's, you know, really defensive, even though he's, you know, walking forward, he's really not trying to open up, and it's hard to catch a guy like that. But the jab will help you get in the door.
I would like to see Gvozdyk talk to a contractor, a builder. Instead of just putting one floor in a house, put a second floor in a house, and then maybe even go for a penthouse. In other words, follow your combinations. Don't be satisfied with the first set. Go for a little more.
No, I like that. And the thing about a guy like Beyker is he wins even if he doesn't win, if he puts up a good fight. That means his phone is going to start ringing after this fight. And for Gvozdyk, it's somewhat of a setback if the fight continues to go like this. He needs to have a spectacular performance at this stage in his career if he's going to be knocking on the door of a title shot.
I think that's a very fair assessment, especially considering some of the buzz surrounding Gvozdyk and what he did this spring and what he's been able to do throughout the early stages of his career.
Kind of like the same situation that's going to happen next week in Las Vegas with Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather, the expectation is he has to destroy him. He doesn't destroy him. He doesn't win big. You know what? In some ways, it's a loss for him. The other guy, McGregor, he survives. He does more than expected. He loses. It's a win.
That's the pressure of being the top dog. And tonight, Gvozdyk is supposed to be the top dog. Pedigree, record, and knocking on the door of a title shot. So the pressure's all on him tonight.
Gvozdyk has that mentality to do enough to win, enough to get by.
Let's see if he can offer up just a little more as we come to the end of 4 here in Nebraska.
La Quinta presents How to Win at Business. Step 1. Point decisively with the arm of your glasses. Abracadabra, the stage is yours. Step 2. Choose La Quinta, the only hotel where you can redeem loyalty points for a free night instantly and win at business.
The U.S. Open, August 28th through September 10th on the networks of ESPN.
One of the greatest legends involves the team you don't remember from Friday Night Lights.
The greatest high school team ever.
ESPN Films presents What Carter Lost, Thursday at 9:30 on ESPN.
The next top-ranked boxing on ESPN has been announced. 2 world title fights in one night, including 22-0 Oscar Valdez, the 2-time Mexican Olympian, against the Filipino Genesis Cervena. Plus, we will see Zurdo Ramirez and Jesse Hart super middleweight title fight, and the aforementioned Mick Conlan, the Irish sensation, will be on that card. That is Friday, September 22nd Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
You know, with all the talk about these prospects and light heavyweights, we have the #1 one sitting right next to me over here. I'd be remiss if I didn't throw out one other top name that trains in one of my foundation gyms, the Dr. Adler's Foundation, Cops and Kids gyms in New York, Marcus Brown. Good prospect, knocking on the door.
Yeah, I like Marcus. His time is going to come, for sure.
He was pretty special looking with a recent win, showing some power.
The thing I like about Beyker in the fighter meeting, even though he's coming off of 2 big layoffs, I said, how do you stay motivated? Do you go to? He said, I stay in the gym all the time. He said, it's like a job. I don't wait until the phone rings until I start to get ready. I stay ready. And I think that's why he's been able to compete somewhat thus far in this fight.
And we mentioned the 1 layoff, most recently of 14 months. He had previously 13 months off before that. And then he missed the entire year in 2010 because he was breaking up a fight and was stabbed and had to have surgery right in the midst of his boxing career. He missed almost 2 years, missed all of 2010. So this is a guy that's overcome a lot and has had to battle inactivity, but he was very confident in saying, I never leave the gym. Some promotional issues as well. The business of boxing can often be the cause of that.
Of course, especially if you're not a top guy like a Gvozdyk or a Shakur Stevenson. You don't have a team necessarily going out there, getting you the right fights, getting you fights every couple months. He's somewhat of an opponent, even though Beyker has a winning record. He's a guy that they bring in to give the prospects a tough go, but he's not supposed to be good enough to beat him. That's a tough life for a professional boxer at that level.
He's 17-1, but his last 3 fights he was put in the way you describe it as an underdog, went 2-1.
I'm going to sum it up this way. Gvozdyk does just enough to get by, to win. Beyker does just enough to lose.
And
succinct and well put.
Yeah, those are 2 mindsets that have been ingrained over an extended period of time. Gvozdyk, his amateur career and part of his pro career. Beyker, he's kind of used to being on the B side, so he's kind of accepted that. So I agree 100% with that.
Well, Gvozdyk talking about reaching the highest goals. A guy who is on top of the world is Terrence Bud Crawford. He's coming up in our main event against Ndongo, and he's seeking greatness.
I feel like I give everybody hope that they can be whatever they want to be. All they got to do is work hard at it and just go get it. Every fighter take pride in being that one guy that everybody looks up to, as well as being a great champion.
Crawford on top of him now, trying to finish the deal. Terrence Bud Crawford, you are a superstar.
This is what I've been training for all my life, for this moment right here. At first, it was just to become a world champion. But then bigger dreams come into play, and now we touching greatness. So I feel like I'm on the verge of being there. I just got to keep on winning, keep on putting on the performances that I've been putting on. The ultimate goal is to be in the Hall of Fame.
You want to touch greatness, then carry around the label undisputed. And that's what can happen tonight. It's been a long time since this sport has been able to use that phrase, undisputed championship fight tonight. Julius Ndongo has 2 of the belts at 140 pounds. Bud Crawford, the other 2. Undefeated junior welterweights set to meet. Let's look at Teddy Atlas's scorecard between Gvozdyk and Beyker. Easy to read so far, but Teddy, I thought you said it well. Doing just enough to accumulate that, and Beyker not doing quite as much as what would be needed. Let's check in with Bernardo.
In Gvozdyk's corner, they said you've got him right where you want him. You're picking up your rhythm, and I want you to make him miss and make him pay with the counter. More importantly, pick up the pace.
I think we would all agree with that last comment.
Maybe once in a while for Gvozdyk. Throw a punch with a little bit of mean intentions.
It wouldn't hurt.
Wouldn't hurt.
Something you won't have to worry about in our main event.
Might hurt the opponent.
It's a nice right hand right there from Gvozdyk.
You never know when he's going to just flip that switch, make that decision, step it up, have a little oomph. There's a right hand that comes in again. So maybe this is the moment as he backs him up. And now he splits the guard with a right hand, and Baker's in trouble. And a short right hand scores the knockdown.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are you okay? You want to continue? Are you sure?
Let's see if he regrets that answer.
He has for bad intentions. We got it.
Big right hand again. Thunderous blow to the head. And a TKO win for the nail. Alex Gvozdyk.
Good stoppage.
Good job. I agree with by the ref. Early he was throwing setup punches. Don't hit me punches. You leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. Punches to the surface. You're taught to punch through the surface. This round, he decided to punch through the surface. The results were glaring.
And that's why we were all anxious to see it. Because when he does make that decision, boy, oh boy, is it good looking. Alex Gvozdyk. Top 10 ranked among all the organizations at light heavyweight. And now 14-0. Guys, let's go through the knockdown.
Setting up the right hand. And there it is. Accumulation of punches. Pushed him to the ropes. Once he had him pinned on the ropes in position, the right hand behind the glove, near the ear. Behind that ear muff that we talked about. And then splitting the guard, and the referee saw enough, did a good job.
For the official particulars, here's Lupe.
Ladies and gentlemen, a series of unanswered blows forces referee Celestino Ruiz to intervene and call a halt to this contest with an official time of 2 minutes 4 seconds of round number 6, declaring the winner by way of technical knockout. Still undefeated, still NABO and ABF light heavyweight champion, the Nail, Oleksandr Gvozdyk.
Well, the Nail nailed him. The proud Ukrainian saw Lomachenko